Exactly. Hi, we're at the village of Providence Point. We're having a groundbreaking ceremony here in Annapolis with a development that's been on the books for a while. And congratulations on finally getting it through, and also saving a lot of forests because that's very important to a lot of Annapolitans and everyone in Maryland, actually. So, Zach, tell us who you are and why you're here.
Hi, my name is Zach Heeter. I'm at National Lutheran, a Lutheran in my personal life as well, and actually had a grandparent who was at a Lutheran community for about 20 years. So, really have been kind of looking at senior care from that lens, and then have worked in nonprofits for over 10 years.
Okay, so we have quite a few senior living facilities in Annapolis. Why do we need another one, and what's different about yours?
Yeah, so a lot of times my friends ask me, what is benevolent care? And that is the not for profit difference. So if you're at a for profit senior living community, if you run out of funds, you will be asked to leave. One of our volunteers at the village at Rockville actually does it because this happened to her friend. She went into the hospital. When she tried to come back, her locks were changed. So we hear these kind of stories. This never happens. Our founding place was formed 135 years out of the Lutheran Church with that promise of benevolent care, and that's been true throughout. So the whole idea of benevolent care is no matter what happens to you in life, you're going to be completely okay, and that we have that fund to subsidize the care. So it can be housing, it can be healthcare, whatever comes up. I was speaking with you a little bit before this, but that was personal to me because my grandparents were at a Lutheran home for 20 years. They did everything right. They saved up. They retired when they were supposed to, but then lived to be in their 90s, had dementia for the last 10 years. So a fund like that can just help subsidize people like that. They do everything right, but you don't want them on the streets when they're in their 80s. And it's something that a lot of people in our society don't think about. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. It's really important. We actually have 10 people that are on benevolent care throughout all of our communities right now. And that's what the donations do is they help to make sure that we can subsidize the care of those people. And that's the mission of National Lutheran.
Okay, so can you talk about also, as a Lutheran facility, are people of the Lutheran faith giving priority to be residents in these developments?
I appreciate that. There's no preference or anything like that. The last I looked at it, I believe 10% of our population is Lutheran. I'm comfortable using the label because we're part of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, which is accepting of people of all backgrounds and faiths. So I'm very comfortable sharing that as my own organized religion, just because it is so welcoming. But yeah, we're welcoming to people of all walks of faith, and I think in general you don't have to have a faith background to be mission driven, but it's nice to be at an organization that is mission driven, if that makes sense.
Okay. So you did talk about something very important, and I'm going through this too with my parents. It's very expensive. We have a crisis in our country with people living longer and having to afford to come. At our What is the price for somebody to come live here, and is it even feasible for most people to live in such a lovely, retirement facility?
That is something I'm worried about for the future, just for our generations as we come to retire. And that's why I think it's important for more people to know about the not for profits that are available. Because I think the divide between people that are able to afford for retirement and people that aren't is going to probably increase. So I think it's important to be able to have options where you can make sure that once you get in, you're set. And like you mentioned, it probably normally comes from having an asset like selling your home or something like that. I know that was true for my grandparents, my some of my in-laws, for example. So yeah, there is definitely that factor too, where you have to start preparing for it, and then it's just essentially that ability to make sure you're okay if you. I said do everything right, but essentially if you planned out everything and you were able to make that investment into a community to know that you're there for life is the idea of the benevolent care fund.
Okay. And do you think because you're a nonprofit, it would be less expensive than for-profit facilities? Is this something for people to look into because of that?
I'm not sure the price exactly, just because I'm not in sales, and I'm not trying to deflect. I just legitimately don't know. But for me, it's just about the investment. My wife and I have already talked about it. We're in our 30s, but we know we want to live in this kind of place, and it's actually not even because of sales; it's because of residents. So many of them will move in their 70s and just be so much healthier and realize I didn't realize how alone I was. They're you see these men. I'll join them for coffee groups and baseball outings and things like that, and they're so happy. And for me, the nonprofit difference really is that sense of security and stability, not just for my sons in the future. They're 3 and 1 right now, so it's hard for me to envision. But
Right.
not just that sense of the stability, but also the sense of community is
Yeah.
really the big part. Just to make sure once I'm in there, I'm in there, and that's because of the benevolent care fund.
Okay, so today's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
When is opening day?
That I'm not quite sure about either.
Okay.
Sorry, I know the mission side very well.
Okay, all right. We'll talk to somebody else. Okay, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Zach. It was
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good
I
luck
really
with your
appreciate you.
the mission going forward.
Thank you. It seriously means a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know benevolent care, so that's really not a lot of people know benevolent care. So I'm always happy to talk about it. You know, a lot of people talk about a lot of other things that are really important, but so is this. So seriously, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
I hope it went okay.
Yeah.